Hello, guys. Welcome back to Pistify, where we will discuss not resumes. So today we are going to talk about something that we haven't covered yet. However, we should have covered it in our uh, sessions where we discovered Terraform and Jenkins related stuff. I hope you have gone through the playlist I have here for Jenkins and the Terraform. Terraform is this one, and Jenkins is this one. So you can have a quick look on the playlist where I have 8 lessons here, as well as in the Terraform where I have 10 videos uploaded, right? So, however, so far we have been doing Terraform manual steps like how we can uh, work with the Terraform codes and provision the resources, update the resources, doing the stuff like locking system, everything else, right? And on the Jenkins, we have covered how we can create a freestyle pipeline. We can create a pipeline and upload the artifact to S3 bucket. How we can use make a use of plugins and all. But this is all about the combination of these two. So how you can provision the resources using Terraform and Jenkins. So your Terraform will provision the resource as a part of infrastructure as a code. However, the entire manual steps will be done with the help of Jenkins as a CI/CD tool. So how we can automate that process, I'll walk you through that about that. So first of all, you should have the Jenkins server up. I hope you have gone through the video. I am again reiterating. If you don't know how to launch Jenkins and set up completely to work with it, please go ahead and watch this playlist. Otherwise, you will be stuck here, or else you have the I have the GitHub repo here wherein I have some resources. If you go to the repositories, you may not be able to see all 16 because few of them are private, but what I have is a public resource. You can always go through it. So one of the most important resource I have here is AWS DevOps ML resources, wherein I have some documents in place. You would be able to find the Jenkins installation guide and everything else in regarding that videos uploaded on this channel. So I'll go back to get Bistified as a user, and I'll open the consent repository. I'm going to walk you through. The first repository is not through Terraform, but how we can provision an AWS resource with the help of Jenkins. We haven't covered it yet. And then in my next video, we will cover how we can play with Terraform and how we can, you know, provision resources with the help of um, Jenkins if Terraform is the responsible tool to provision the resources. All right. So for Jenkins, you should have one EC2 machine. I also have this. Uh, I have made it easier for you. So if you go back to Get Bustified and you visit single resource, Terraform single resource, right? And if you see here, Jenkins, this is the module. You can run the Terraform manually. I hope you are aware of how to do it. Manually, you can run it from VS Code, and once your apply is successful, you would be able to see Jenkins page. And this will not only have Jenkins, your Git is also there, and your Java, and I hope Docker is also there. Let me see what do we have in user data. So we have Git, we have Java, we have Docker. So most important things we already have in place, right? The second prerequisite you should have when you work with Terraform, I'll explain this in the coming video as well. So this is the command. If you have Jenkins server up, just log into that EC2 machine and then run these commands. If you have it Amazon Linux as the operating system, otherwise you can choose Ubuntu, whatever operating system you have chosen. I have chosen Amazon Linux as an AMI. So this is my Jenkins server. It has Terraform, it has Docker, it has Git, it has Java. So that's all I need it for now. Let's begin with some hands-on. Cool. So let me go back to the same repositories, and let's first understand how we can, uh, you know, write the codes here. But before that, I would like to also explain you that this is the entire README section where you have all the steps in here. You can see what is supposed to be done before you go into Jenkins and set it up. So as a prerequisite, I've already told you in Terraform, every other thing, GitHub, you should install to work with these codes. But additionally, you should also create IAM role, so that and this IAM role will be attached to EC2 machine, and this will have permission to allow Jenkins to Jenkins is although on EC2 machine, but it will also allow Jenkins, if this role is attached, that EC2 machine would also have the permission to, that means Jenkins would also have permission to spin up EC2 machine and do the required things. All right, so this is the policy I have. So these all other things I have here in my readme section of this. If you scroll down, you would be able to find this section here. Okay, all right, let's walk you through the codes. I already have it cloned here. I prefer Visual Studio. So this is the script it's going to execute. It has set -e. That means as soon as your command is executed and the job is done, it will stop then and there. So it will exit out this session. So that means set -e is basically to exit it out. And then we have some declaratives here, wherein we have defined which region it should choose, what AMI ID, what instance type, and what the key pair, subnet ID, and the security group ID. These all are the prerequisites you should have uh, 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 in handy to define it here in the shell script. And then this is the shell script you have. AWS EC2 run instances -region it is picking up from here only, and then AMI ID, instance type, count as in like how many instances you will be requiring. So we only need one. Key name is again what we have defined above, and most of the things we have already defined. And then the tag specifications. So tag specification is nothing but tag section where you see what is the key value and what this EC2 machine is for. So key value pair, you would be finding it here in the tags once EC2 is up. So for this Jenkins server, I have key as name, value as Jenkins server. So once your EC2 is my provision through that shell script, you would also find something here for that EC2 machine. All right, so let's begin. We already have pushed this code on Jenkins. So what Jenkins file would do, once your pipeline is triggered, your Jenkins will walk through these steps and the defined steps. So where in pipeline we have chosen agent any, because we don't have any node connected to Jenkins master. So this is our Jenkins page. We don't have anything connected in the node. We will run it on the master on this particular server. So, and how to connect node, you can always find the session here. One of the sessions I have already explained it here. Anyways, so any, if you have the node connected, what you will do is you will define agent as the or the label as whatever the node would be. Okay, whatever you would define the node name. And then we have these as the options like timestamps, and then we have the stages defined. So Jenkins file is all about this defining the stages, how what it should do actually. So what it should do at first place, it would check out your GitHub codes, and then it will verify the IAM role whether we have the sufficient permission to execute this AWS stuff. All right, and then it will echo the IAM role access, and it will say run this shell command AWS STS, and this get caller identity is the assumed role we have in place. And then this is the default. You can keep it like this only. And then we have provision EC2 stage, wherein we have one script that is in the script folder. So we have written it as this scripts slash create ec2.sh. All right, it's under scripts. And the reason why we have added this line, just to provide the privileges to execute this script. Okay, so plus x means executable. So now here we are actually executing this script. All right, this is just the permission we have given, and this is where we are actually uh, executing the script. And once your apply is successful, I mean not apply, but this script is uh, through, then you will get the message EC2 provisioning completed successfully. Otherwise, you will get EC2 provisioning failed. All right, and this is the readme section. We already have it covered through GitHub console. So let's now do what we are supposed to do here. So we this is the GitHub. What I'll do is I'll copy this and I'll come here. I'll say new item. It's kind of slow. I'm not sure because of the internet, because I have chosen the right instance size. It's all should be good. And then I'll say demo have an EC2 with AWS CLI. And then I'll say pipeline. Okay. Now I'll get the configure window. If you want, you can skip this lag. I mean, just do the forward this video if you want. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll not say anything here. I'll not check any boxes. This project is not parameterized, so I'll skip this as well. GitHub would trigger, GitHub smalling. I'll skip this as well because I am not going to use imperative. I am going to use declarative pipeline. I hope you are aware of these two terms. If not, then go through the Jenkins introduction of the playlist that I have shown you in the beginning. So I'll choose this, wherein I'll get the option to choose Git, and then it will ask me to enter the repository URL. I'll say this, and then credentials. So credentials, generally you would do this, add Jenkins, and then the credential is nothing but your username of the Git. My username is get justified, and the password is not the GitHub password of your console, but the personal access token. How to set this up? Again, go through the playlist. One of the videos I have covered it in there. I already have one user password declared here, so I'll use that. And now I'll come to branch specifier. What branch I have? I will not use master. I'll use main. This is the branch, so I'll use main. Go back here, do this, and then script path. Script path as in how would Jenkins know what needs to be done. So it will refer the Jenkins file stored on the GitHub. We have fetched the GitHub repository and the content using these configurations, and now it is checking what exactly it should do with these files and folders, okay, or the scripts. So Jenkins file it will refer. I have already shown you what it does. So let's say save here. It is getting saved. Meanwhile, I think I have missed one thing. So once the role is created with the sufficient permissions, you would come here in the actions, in the security, you would do modify IAM role, and then you will assign that role here and say update IAM role. All right. So since I've already done it, I'm not going to do it again. Now come back here. Now this is build now option. I'll say let's do this. So we haven't done anything. We just have the codes here. We created one pipeline and we just clicked build now. So whenever any EC2 needs to be provisioned in your enterprise environment, if you have this setup, if you get the requirement again and again, instead of going ahead on the console and do the configuration again and again, just do this and you would be all good. I think this is almost done. Let's see the console output here. So with this arrow, or else you can click this and then you'll get the console output here. Let's see what it says in the console output. Console output is nothing but the logs that it has built up, and we will see if we have any error. It doesn't seem that we have any error because it says the green check because it is successful. So this is what it has done. It has checked out the GitHub, cloned the GitHub repository, checking that out, fetch the necessary changes we have there, and again, whatever we have defined in the Jenkins file, it is doing exactly the same thing, verifying I'm role access, getting this, this is this I'm role access, and this is the I'm role, and now it is trying to execute the script, and the script is nothing but creating the EC2 machine. So let's go ahead and see what it did. So it has created an EC2 machine, and this is the private IP address, and this is the EBS. That means the EBS volume as in the disk, data drives, and the root drives. This is your EC2 instance. It has provision with the CMI T3.micro. Since we have defined T3.micro, availability zone in the region is nothing but AP South 1. And since it is created, the EC2 is created, that's the reason we are getting the successful message right here and say finish success. Now let's go ahead and verify the same here on the instances on EC2. So I do have, let's ignore this one. I tested it out before creating this video. Uh, so what it did, this is the Jenkins server I have. So let me do this instance state so that you would not get confused with it. We now have two on here. Okay. So this is the EC2 machine. It is provisioned, and this is the IP address, public IP address we have got. This is the private IP address we have got. And since I'm on the personal, so that's the reason I'm using public IP address as well. And if you want, you can try login here. Let me say putty. Okay, this is the putty. I'll say EC2 hyphen user is the default user for Amazon Linux operating system, and then IP, and then I'll say auth. I hope you are aware how to connect a Linux machine. This is the key I have. Now I'll say open. I'll accept this, and here we go. So just with the one click in Jenkins as build now, you are good with the EC2 provision. And having said that, it is always up to you what all configurations you would need for your EC2 machine. You can always define it here in the shell script, right? Jenkins file would do nothing but to refer this script and execute it with some certain set of steps, and that's all. I think for this video I'll destroy it, or else you can manually destroy it for now, and otherwise, as a part of your homework, just create one script that say delete ec2.sh and create a new repository on your own GitHub, and then try to execute that script. So here, instead of run instances, it'll be not run instances, it'll be delete instances. All right, or whatever the relevant command is, you can always check it on the official document. So once you are done with this, you would be able to delete it from this setup, and once you say build now, it would be able to delete it. So make sure you have the right repository configured here, and I'll also cover in my near future videos how you can set up this create and destroy in the same configuration with an option. You would get an option here whether you would like to create machine or you would like to destroy it on the Jenkins console. So this is something really interesting, but not for now. We'll cover it in future. Thanks all for watching. Stay tuned for my next video.